All right. So let's start standing. And we'll bring our feet together, our hands together. On your next exhale, lower the arms by your sides. And just reach your right arm up for an inhale. Take it over to the left for an exhale, so side bending. Come through center again on the inhale, get as tall as you can. Belly in and lower the hand, exhale. And lift the left arm up, inhale. And try to stay on the same plane through all parts as you hinge, so we're not leaning forward or back, we're just going to the side. Come through center again, inhale, and lower the arm, exhale. We'll reach both arms up, inhale, fold forward, exhale. Come halfway up for your inhale, and step or jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Facing, exhale. Let's lift the heels up and spin them to the right, so your toes face the left. And bend the right knee. Push extra through your left foot. So again, it's a side stretch scenario. This will help us in twists and everything else. Let's bring the heels up and over to the other side. Bend the left knee so your right foot is extra heavy. We'll find ourselves through center, normal downward dog. Shake out your head, press into your hands so you feel your arms getting straighter. And let's bring the feet about 12 inches forward, so our down dog is very short. And again, press into your hand, especially the inside of the hand. Just make sure the arms are straight. And walk the feet again forward, maybe 12 inches. And again, arms straight. If it's too difficult for flexibility, just bend the knees. Let's walk the feet a few more inches forward. Again, arms are straight. Press to the hand. Release the grip, bend the knees, and start to roll up. Drop the tailbone so that you can let your arms and head just come up last. We'll reach both arms up for an inhale. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up so you feel like your wrists are stretching to the ceiling. Belly in, and just be careful not to stand like this. So we're not in an arched position. Instead, drop your tailbone down and try to tuck these lowest ribs in a little bit, which is very difficult when you're reaching up. Next, exhale, reach over to the left. Next, inhale, come through center. And head over to the other side. So you'll feel a little extra weight in your left foot as you reach to the right. Belly in so that you can come safely through center and release the grip. Exhale. Both arms up. Inhale. Fold forward. Exhale. Come halfway up. Inhale. Step or jump chaturanga. Exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Let's lift the right leg to the ceiling, point the toes, and kick yourself in the butt so your knee is lifting. And squeeze your heel as close to your butt as you can. Level out your shoulders so that you feel more of a stretch through the right waist. And just lower the foot so that you can find down dog, and then the other side. Right leg is straight, heel is toward the ground, left leg up. Kick your left heel toward your butt. And try to lift your right armpit a little higher. Your left armpit will go down a bit to compensate. And then you'll have a better stretch for the left waist. If you let your shoulders get all shifty here, you'll avoid that stretch for the waist. Okay, downward dog. You have a lot of weight in the feet, so your arms have an easier time being straight. Let's walk our feet forward. Now a little bit harder because the weight is just divided differently. So practice pushing into your fingers. Step forward again. You decide how much. You decide how bent your legs get. Maybe look down between your thumbs and just see, are your arms actually straight? Sometimes we think they are, and then we look down and the elbows are bowing out to the side. Let's go that last little bit forward. On your exhale, fold. We'll bend the knees, roll up. I like to stick my fingers just to the side of the belly button as I roll up, just to help the mid-back articulate. Once you're up, we'll reach up, this time steeple mudra. Palms together. So if your edge of hand is not able to touch, it's probably because your shoulder's not rotating enough. So if that's you, reach forward, then it's easier to get the pinky edge to touch. Plug your arms into the socket and then go up, just so that you have that starting point is solid. Okay. So we'll reach to the ceiling for an inhale. When you're ready to exhale, tip over to the left, push your hips to the right. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. Maybe deepen the bend a little bit. Maybe straighten the arms a little bit more. Next inhale will come through center. Just remember how your fingers are interlaced, and exhale, release your grip. We'll do the other side. We'll just try to switch which finger's on top. So either reach up or reach forward, get your steeple mudra, get the pinky edge of the hand to touch. So that just comes from the arm rotating externally. When you're ready, reach up. And on your exhale, reach over to the right, push the hips left. You have to keep the bandhas on for this, especially Uddiyana bandha, otherwise there's a little bit too much weight on the low back. Inhale to rise up, and release the grip, exhale. Both arms up, in, fold forward, exhale. Come halfway up for the inhale, step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale, downward facing, exhale. Just bend the right knee so your left heel has a chance to touch the floor. And change sides. Right heel down, left knee bends. And both heels down. And both elbows down. And you'll notice when you put your elbows down behind your wrists, the heels are not as low as they were. Let's bend the right knee so the left heel has a chance at either touching down or just getting closer. Bend the left knee so the right heel has a chance. That right leg gets super strong. Let's reach both heels down again. We'll just walk the feet in maybe 8 inches. And it's like when we walked in with downward dog before. You were trying earlier to keep your arms straight. Now you're going to just try to keep your head off the ground. So you're pushing into your fingers, into your forearms, bringing your armpits a little closer to your legs. Take one more breath. I know it's hard. And somehow we'll meet in downward dog and then walk the feet forward toward the hands. Whenever you get close to the hands, inhale. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. Inhale. Let's twist to the right, hook the left elbow. Exhale. Stay here for an inhale, look down. Step the left foot back for an exhale. So we're in a twisted lunge. Inhale to look up at the ceiling over your mat. Stay there for the exhale. Stay there for the inhale. And look down again for the exhale. Back foot forward for the inhale. So we're just in that twisted chair again. And untwist, exhale. Find your Utkatasana, nice and normal, arms up. Hands to the floor about 12 inches or 8 inches in front of your toes. And we're not going to go to full Bakasana. We're just going to shift the weight forward, touch the knees to the triceps, and then shift the weight back again so the heels come onto the ground. So just do this a few times. The goal here is to keep your arms straight. So you'll have to use your belly strength quite a bit to round the back. If it's too hard, also you could adjust how far your hands are from your feet, make them a little closer. Might be a little easier, because then you don't have to lean quite as far. Just take one more round. We'll meet with our heels down for Utkatasana again, arms up. And we'll just do the other side of the twist. Hook the right arm outside of the left thigh. And we look in your twisted lunge, look up. And we'll stay here for a full breath. The next exhale, we look down again for balance. Back foot forward on the inhale. Knees touch, ankles touch. And untwist. Reach up. Utkatasana. And again, bring the hands down. This time we'll just find Bakasana to Vinyasa so that we're not on the wrists for very long. So bring your knees toward your armpits, or just high up on the arms is good enough. Lift one foot, lift the other foot, round your back, and on your exhale, chaturanga, shoot the legs back and look forward. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to lift the hips. Shake out the head. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Step forward to the hands, exhale. Simple twist, we're just keeping the left hand where it is. Reach the right arm up. Feel free to stay here, or keeping all the arm thing the same, keeping your right leg the same. Just lower your back knee for your exhale and lift it again for your inhale. So either staying put or moving with breath, it is interesting to figure out how to swing your right hip further back. Next time your left leg is straight, keep it that way. Untwist, rise up to high lunge, and open up warrior two. Adjust your feet for heel to arch alignment. Straighten the front leg, inhale. Bend the front leg, exhale. One more time like this, inhale. And exhale. Let's go palms to the floor. Lift the back heel. And just bring that right foot about halfway back. So we're in like a no man's land plank kind of position. And practice lifting your right heel up toward your bum. Tap your right knee to your right elbow. Then your right knee to your left elbow. Over to your right elbow. Over your left elbow. One more time. Don't let your toes touch the floor. So keep squeezing your heel up toward your butt. And center so that you can step back, Vinyasa. It takes a lot of hamstring to squeeze your heel in toward your butt, but for back bends, that's going to be something that we need active. Okay, left leg high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. Simple twist, right hand under the shoulder, left arm over the right arm. We look up. So swing that left hip back. Even as you bend and swing the right leg. One of the challenges is swinging the left hip back without letting the knee splay out. So you have to keep the ball of your left foot pushing down. The next time your right leg is straight, untwist. Rise to high lunge. Exhale for warrior two. Adjust your feet as needed. Inhale to straighten left leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Hands to the floor. Square yourself to the mat, so right heel is up. Then we'll slide that left foot back. Get your arms straight, then lift your heel up towards your butt. Toes are off the ground. Touch your knee to your left elbow, and then to your right elbow. Whatever pace you want, whatever range you want, but don't let your left toes touch the floor. And after you've done about 3, step back, vinyasa. Okay, right leg high, inhale. Step to the knee down. So it's Anjaneyasana legs. We'll take hold of opposite elbows and pull the forearms back. We'll try to keep forearms square to top of the mat. Okay, fingertips down. Lift the back knee. We'll turn this into purvottanasana. Your right hand is already down. You could keep it there. Left arm will sweep out over the ear as you scoop your right hip under. Or you can come onto the block or elbow to thigh. Take 3 more breaths. We'll look out at that left hand and we'll check that the shoulder is rotating to get the pinky finger angled down. Okay, and let's untwist, lower the back knee. We'll return to our Anjaneyasana. This time interlace the fingers behind the head. Start to press the head back. Lift the elbows up. And try to stretch your elbows so far away from your hips that you literally feel your triceps affected. Let's bend the front knee another inch. We'll slowly get out of there. Let's take it to triangle, just nice and normal. Lift the back knee, lower the heel, adjust your feet as needed, and left arm up. So it's the same idea as earlier. You got to scoot that right hip under you in order to open to the side. If your right leg cannot be straight with your hand low, just lift your hand higher up on that shin. Take 1 more breath. We'll untwist. We'll meet in our Anjaneyasana again. This time we'll slide our right foot back so that the foot and left knee are relatively close. We'll dip our chest low, hook our armpit onto our shin bone, and we're just going to take a plank, not an Bakasana, but a plank with our right leg lifted, our right shin pushing into the arm, and we're just going to try to push the right shin down enough to get our butt up a little higher. So it doesn't feel saggy at all, it feels quite lifted. Take 1 more breath here. And see if you can straighten your arms more and slip your arm off of, or your leg rather, off of your arm and just let it hang out knee by elbow. So still don't lose the lift of the hips, don't get saggy. And step back, vinyasa. Everything on the other side. Left leg will lift up, inhale. We'll step to the hands, exhale. Anjaneyasana. Hold opposite elbow. Take your forearms up and back. We'll keep the ears right between the arms. We'll try to bend the front knee another inch, perhaps. Okay, and let's bring our Hands down, we'll turn this into purvottanasana. Right knee up, right heel down. And as you feel ready, that left hip will scoop under you so that your chest can spin open. Your right ribs will come on top of your left ribs. And you decide, do you want to deal with the twist more, that opening the chest? Do you want to deal with the hip more? That will help you decide where to put your hand or forearm. Okay, lower the hand. Lower that right knee down again, square up for Asana with the fingers interlaced. Try to go the goofy thumb way, when it feels just a little less comfortable. Lift your elbows up and back. Those of you who have ever had a Kapottasana adjustment where the teacher puts their hands or feet on your elbows and pushes them down to the ground a little more, imitate that here. Try to get that feeling so that you can feel it in your armpits and your triceps. Okay, we'll slowly let that go. Triangle, lift the right knee. Angle yourself to the side. Straighten that left leg. Reach up, look up. There's a great side bend stretch here, like that waistline that we were doing earlier. So if you can draw the belly in, even with that right arm still up, you can still elongate more in that top side. Okay, let's lower that right hand. Return to your Asana, and we'll take it to our sort of strength builder for eventual arm balances. So hands down, that left foot will move back, maybe 8 inches or somewhere between 6 and 12. So to get your armpit to your shin bone, you'll have to back up your butt a little bit, dip your chest down, bend your elbows. And once you've got your armpit centered on your shin, rock forward and find your plank-like shape. And for most of us, our right arm here can get fully straight, but our left elbow has a little bend because we're using it as a shelf for that left leg. So allow that to be, it's fine. We're gonna adjust that in just a sec, but keep your hips up and start to slip your left leg away and just let it hover knee by elbow. And that left heel is still squeezing towards your butt. And step back, vinyasa. Let's come down to the knees. Anahata number 1. Arms straight. Drop either the forehead to the floor or the chin to the floor. I get a little bit stuck in the shoulders at first. So as I'm descending, I try to roll my arms out, maybe bring the elbows down before the head, because it doesn't feel as good if you get stuck. The shoulders need to roll away comfortably. Draw the belly in and think about your tailbone reaching toward your feet so that you're not overbending in the low back. And let's make our way to down dog B by just walking it in and lifting the knees. The head is relaxed. So basically you're staring at your ankles. Push into your hands a little bit more, and you'll notice that now it's easier to keep the elbows squeezing in. If you have too much weight in the elbows, they're going to tend to splay out a little bit more. So give your hands a little more responsibility. Lighten the load for the elbows and let them hug in toward that midline enough so that you feel your shoulders get comfortable. Okay, straighten the arms, downward dog. Let's lift the right leg up. Inhale. Into the hands, exhale. We're Asana, number 612. Okay, interlace the fingers behind the back. I am very tight in the chest these days because Thanksgiving is a very busy dog walking time and all of my dog friends are very big. So I have been overworked in my arms. This feels amazing. So we're just going to reach our knuckles down toward that back knee for just another breath or so. All right, slip the fingers away. We'll bring the left arm up and over. Unbend the front knee a few inches so that you can get a good hook of your left arm on that right thigh. Palms together. There was class recently that we did this a lot of times. We had prayer twist as one, we had left hand down, right hand up as one, and we had the bind as one. So if you were in that class, do something that suits you. If you were not in that class, do something that suits you, and we'll try to look up. Take 2 more breaths, swing that right hip back, dig that ball of right foot into the floor. We'll untwist very slowly, lower the left knee down again, and we'll find our Asana with robot arms. So I know that your front leg is a little bit tired at the moment, because mine is too. If we allow it to get too tired, or to get too lazy, I should say, you can handle this. You'll start to angle yourself to the side. So instead, you need to dig your heel into the floor and pull it back. And literally, your right hip will move back. You'll square yourself more. You might not have your knee as bent as it was, but the integrity of the pose is better. So robot arms, elbows back, either stay there or fingers down. And notice that in your quest to get your fingers down, you might need to bend your front knee more. However, don't let it bend to the point where now you can't control if your hips are square. This is all right hamstring. It's the same idea as when you lifted your heel up toward your butt and tried to keep your toes off the floor. You're squeezing that hamstring and letting your heel and sitting bone move toward each other. Okay, release your back bend. Lift your back knee, twisted triangle. Feels so good to straighten the right leg after all of that. Okay, left hand somewhere that suits you and right arm up. Or right hand to that right hip and push it back. If you are reaching up, try to look up also. Try to draw your belly in so you don't feel the flesh of the torso against the right leg, or it's not as heavy against the leg. And let's untwist. And we'll just find our 3-legged downward dog. So hands down, right leg will lift up. And we'll point the toes toward the ceiling as much as we can. Let's walk the hands back about 12 inches. So it's still a down dog shape, but it's shorter. The right leg might be coming down a little bit, it's fine. Walk the hands in another 12 inches or so. Try to keep the arms straight. Walk the hands in another 12 inches or so. Try to keep the arms straight. So it's just a standing split variation where there's a lot of weight in our left foot, not very much weight in our hands, so we can work on getting the arms straight. Let's walk it into downward dog again slowly. So first, maybe 12 inches. Then another 12 inches. So now there's more responsibility in the hands with weight bearing. And then fully down dog. Lower that right foot. Either stay in downward dog or take your vinyasa. 2. So we'll lift the left leg a bit forward to the hands for Asana with the fingers interlaced behind. I like to roll the shoulders first and then sometimes wiggle back and forth, the same as you would in your Prasarita A C. Whatever things you do in that pose, you might need to apply them here. Stay for another 2 breaths. Okay, and we'll let that go. We'll make our way to a twist. Unbend the left leg enough to get your right armpit well hooked over that left leg. And then decide, do you want prayer twist or arms extended or binding? You could also do a half bind. If you want to bind and your shoulders are cool with that, but you feel like your balance is not, just put your knee down, your back knee down. Okay, let's untwist. Find your way to twisted triangle stance, so the feet will come in a little bit closer. Heel to heel alignment. Right hand down, left hand up. If your right hand is flat on either the ground or the block, think about squeezing your pointer and thumb closer together. That will help keep the weight inside of your hand. It won't go over to your wrist. Let's untwist and meet in Asana. Right knee down again. So you might need to put the idea of sinking too low, letting the hips open so that you can see how to fix it. Because you have the power to fix it by digging your front heel into the floor, by even pressing the right toes down. Take our arms to robot, roll the shoulders up toward your ears, then back. Point your elbows toward the wall behind you. Either stay like this or reach down. Once you start the process of reaching down, you still might need to roll your shoulders again. If it's easy for you to touch your fingers down, another variation that's fun is do it with your palms facing out, and your thumbs facing the back of your mat. It's just another little extra bit for the shoulders. Okay, and let's slowly get out of there. We'll make our way to down dog with the left leg up. Point the left. Try to get both legs straight. Notice the weight distribution between your hand and foot. Bring your hands back about 12 inches. Straighten your arms again. Bring your hands back another 12 inches. Straighten your arms again. Bring your hands again. It will feel more like standing split because the hands are very light. Therefore, making it easier for us to squeeze our fingertips down to get the arms straight. Walk the hands forward about 12 inches. Maybe stare at your arms, see if they're straight. Again, 12 inches. And last 12 inches, so you're in a normal downward dog. Lower the left foot. Stay there or rock forward to plank. Inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. And downward facing, exhale. Let's go for Anahatasana round 2. So the knees down. This time we're going to bend the elbows. So we'll walk the hands forward, put our elbows down, and bring the hands to prayer. So the forearms are vertical. You might want your elbows a little closer than shoulders width. And we'll try to bring the chest down like we did before, but it will feel quite different. In a lot of ways, it's easier. Reach your tailbone a little closer to your feet. Notice how that activates the low belly to draw in. Let's slide ourselves forward. We'll just meet in Sphinx. Whew. Hands down in front. Elbows are just slightly in front of the shoulders. And let's just squeeze our right heel toward our butt, the low hamstring, and extend the leg out again. And then try the other side. Squeeze it in. And extend it out again. Okay. Replace your elbows with hands. Come to the balls of the feet. Lift your knees and slide over the toes for upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, exhale. Let's step the right foot forward. We'll lower the left knee down. We're going to potentially lift it up again in a moment. Untuck the toes so the top of your left foot is on the ground. Look back and just make sure that your knee and your edge of mat is the same distance as your foot and edge of mat. Then either fingertips to the floor or to your right knee, press into your left foot and try to get your left knee off the ground. If you have any foot issues, ankle issues, maybe just keep your left knee on the floor. If you are lifting your left knee up, press with all of your toes, not just the big toe, even your little pinky toe, everything. Okay, lower that knee down again. Let's bring our right foot across for pigeon. And in this pigeon, let's slide our front heel closer to the left hip so that we can stay in this back bend. You decide how much of a back bend. If you want your hands to be out front, it will be less of a back bend. Or you can have your hands kind of underneath your hips for more of a back bend. Once you've decided, squeeze your left heel toward your butt, oy vey, that's hard, and extend it out again. And we'll just do this 2 more times. When you get to what you think is your maximum squeezing in, just stay there for an extra second just to kind of solidify that strength. And we'll extend the leg back, curl the toes, step to plank. Exhale to bend the elbows. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, hips up. We'll just do this on the other side. Left foot forward. Asana. Untuck the right foot. And check, because usually we think it's nice and straight back, and then we look and we learn something very interesting about ourselves. Ooh la la. Okay, when you can, press into your right foot. So this is the same back foot scenario that you would have in your Ustrasana, in your laghuvadrasana, and in your Kapottasana. Let's lower that right knee down again. Walk yourself into pigeon. And decide how back bend do you want this to be. If you have any back pain, you're not going to bring your shoulders so far back. Because we have to deal with our hamstrings, so we can't be dealing with back hurting and the hamstrings too much. When you're ready, squeeze it in, stay for a moment, and extend it out. 2 more times, whatever pace you want. And after that 3rd round, we meet in downward dog, vinyasa, and if you have it in you, okay. Let's bring our feet forward so they're 12 inches behind the hands, give or take. And we're going to shift our weight forward, lift the heels, arms straight, and then shift the weight back into the heels. Your hands get a little break. Shift the weight forward, keep your arms straight, and shift your weight back into the heels. Just do this a time or two. You'll notice where it's difficult for you. We're all going to have a different issue to deal with. Okay, next time your heels are down, let's bend the knees and squat just as far as you can. And put the knees on your upper arms, as close to the armpits as is comfortable for you. And we're just going to take Bakasana to tripod headstand into chaturanga. I'll show you in case you're not sure what I mean. So you want to make sure you have enough space at the top of your mat for your head. I'm going to have my butt lift up from the squat position. I'll start to point the toes more and more, and I'm going to squeeze my heels in toward my butt. Hello, hamstrings. We did a lot of that. And I'll start to bend the elbows, drop the head, make a triangle shape with two hands and a head, and use the abdominal strength to lift the legs. They may not go up, in which case you could just shoot your legs back to chaturanga. If they do go up, you'll go on an exhale purposefully to chaturanga. And we'll meet in downward dog. So give that a try. If there's a part of it that scares you or you have an injury, maybe you're not doing headstands, then modify accordingly. Anuk, elbows in. So in your headstand, Anuk, your elbows are kind of rolling out. Okay. We meet in downward dog. Let's bring the left foot forward and pivot to face the side of the mat. So we're just in Prasarita A. Hands between the heels, inhale, head down, exhale. And we're just going to start to lift the feet off the ground, maybe like 6 inches. So this is good practice for getting your heels up. And once you feel okay with your heels up, you'll notice how your hands have to take extra weight in order for the rest of your foot to lift. And just stay there for a sec and then come down again. That's just weight transfer. Let's straighten the arms, walk your hands toward your right leg for Hanumanasana or your version of it. So it could be an Anjane, it could be a really long Anjane, or it could be Hanuman, right leg out. Consider, once you're where you're going, this is optional of course, consider trying to bend your back leg. Squeeze your heel toward your butt and then extend it out again. Doing that 3 times. It's not really worse than when we did it in pigeon, but maybe we're a little distracted by this split situation. All right, let's take it to the side. Prasarita A again. So walk the feet in so that you have a nice solid stance. Hands come between the heels. We're just going to do the same thing. I just want you to think about how your feet are coming up off the ground. You shift your weight from your heels toward the balls of your feet. And once you decide you want your toes up or the balls of your feet up, your hands, all of a sudden, they are participating. They thought they were already participating, but then they came on even more. Okay, bring the feet down, straighten the arms, walk yourself to the left, find your Hanuman situation, which might be different on this side. Once you feel settled, decide if you want to deal with that back leg, squeezing and lowering. It's just a nice way to turn on the hamstrings, which will in turn help us with back bends. Okay. When you've had enough of such things, let's just pivot to face the side for Bakasana. Go as far as you can, feet apart. When they can't go anymore, spin on your heels so your kneecaps and toes face up. And you can go a little further. Walk the hands back so you feel your inner thighs and forearms touch. Maybe you bring your butt to the ground, maybe not. I like to bring my butt down and like shake out my wrists for a second usually, but then I'm not in a straight line. So it's kind of a give and take of what aspect do you want to work on. Bakasana is supposed to be a straight line, but if my butt's on the ground, it's a V shape. Okay, so those of you who are on the ground, hands by your inner thighs again, lean forward, lift your butt, walk your hands forward, rock to the soles of the feet, walk the feet in, and let's all just meet in downward dog with the hands at the top of the mat and that left foot stepping back. Okay, let's jump through and have a seat. And we'll just bring the right leg to a baby cradle. So the foot to the elbow, that shin bone across the chest. So sometimes we want it to be facing the side because it's easier. Push your foot further to the left. Just take a breath or two there. We'll turn this into laghuvadrasana. Let's bring the right leg toward a half lotus or your modification of it. Roll to your right hip. Bend the left leg back to your version of Viparita. And for right now, instead of sliding the hand under like we normally do, just put the hand on top. Sorry, other leg. Left hand would be on top of the right knee. And the right hand will go behind. And we're just doing this hand position for the knee today because of things like arm balancing, the wrist bending, just to give your wrists a little break. Let's look back over the right shoulder. Okay, we'll untwist. Let's undo the legs as well. We're going to put the right foot down as if we were going to come into a Viparita, but then we're not. We're going to put the left hand down and just step that left foot back. So we end up in a lunge. And try that a few times. So you have a lot of weight in your right foot, but also a lot of weight in your left hand. And as you're trying to get your left foot back, you have to lift it high. Otherwise, it's going to drag on the ground. So all that heel toward butt thing we were doing, you'll need to do that. Your hamstring will have to be very strong. Otherwise, your toes will just drag, which is not so bad. It's not going to hurt. And let's meet again on our butts whenever you've tried that a few times. And let's find our mayurasana seat. So we have our heel, right heel close to the sitting bone. We'll twist and hug the knee to the left shoulder, or we'll hook the arm, or we'll bind around. So if you're going for a bind around, you need to bridge the gap here between your torso and your thigh. One way to do that is hold your leg with your right hand so that it doesn't move, and literally pull yourself in. So this right bicep is working to pull my torso toward the right leg. Then I'll push the knee to the right. And that sort of makes it get stuck. And once you're kind of stuck in the position, it's not so hard to stay there. It's just that getting there is hard. Okay, slowly unwind yourself. Let's meet in a squat. So we already have our right foot down. We just have to bring the left foot down. There we are. So we're going to go Bakasana, head down and then head up again. But we're not going to move the knees. We're going to glue our knees to wherever they like to be in Bakasana. So you won't have to worry about going up to headstand. We're going to find our Bakasana with the gaze forward and the arms somewhat straight as you can get them. And when we want to lower our head, we're going to bend the elbows, but the elbows have to still face back. They can't splay out. The knees will splay out. Then place the head, and you'll return to your Bakasana by rolling toward your forehead, squeezing your legs in again, and lifting your waist and butt up. So just try that a time or two. Part of the issue is getting your arms from straight to bent and to straight again. And part of the issue is letting your hips drop when your head has to come down, and then hoisting your hips up again. Good, Lisa, keep squeezing your heels in toward your butt. You got this. Oh, cheated. We're gonna be trying that again. I saw a funny little meme that was, it was on like the yoga room on Instagram, and this teacher was yelling at the students, do it again, but good this time. And it seems like something I would say. But let's give ourselves a break before we do it again. So come to your butt somehow, be it jumping through or sitting, or maybe you're already sitting. And we're going to do all of this on the other side. So it started with baby cradle. So this time left leg, foot comes to right elbow. I did this morning as a prep for a meditation that I do, but it was like 7 a.m. and I couldn't even put my foot in the elbow because I wasn't flexible enough yet. So I was like out here. And sometimes that's reality. So you just bring it in as close as you can without rounding your back too much, without feeling pain, without feeling slumped. Every once in a while, we need an evening practice to boost our egos. Okay, Laghuvadrasana. Left foot is half lotus. Right leg is virasana, but with the knee open so that the knees are about mat's width. We twist to the left. If you're in half lotus, grab your toe. If you're not, grab your thigh. And just put your right hand for today on top of your knee. Because all that arm balancing stuff is challenging for your wrists. So you can increase your twist with your arms, doing a little push-pull action, or you can do it with your core. And use that exhale, drawing the belly in. Okay, and we'll slowly get out of there. We'll undo the legs and bring the left foot like it's gonna do a mayurasana, right hand down. So there's gonna be a perfect spot for you. Do you line your right hand up with your left heel or with your left toes or somewhere in between? You decide. It might depend on how long your arm is, might depend on how flexible your hip is. So just try this a few times. Try to bring your knee toward your chest, your heel toward your butt as you step through. And over time, this could get easier so that something like a jump through, maybe your abs and leg are more participatory, or maybe your fingers are getting grippier. So when you've had enough, sit down, mayurasana C, right leg straight, left knee points up, and we twist. We hug, hook, or bind, and we take our time getting the twist deep, because if your twist is not deep, the bind is not going to work. Or if it were to work, you would wind up like popping your shoulder out. So here's my two-hand approach. And then I use my left hand behind me to help me sit up as I bind the right arm, and then the left hand is ready to lift up. And then you're stuck. Then as long as your fingers grip and your bind is tight around that leg, you can't even exit if you wanted. Let's slowly unwind. We're going to meet in a squat again. And I'm going to show you one more time the lowering the head and then the lifting the head. So part of what I see, I'm just going to do it wrong for a second. So see how where my elbows are in relation to my wrists. If I put my head down and then I let my elbows move back, this happens. And that's what's happening almost across the board. So you can't let your elbows move this way. Instead, you have to think of straightening your arms. Because see, if your arms are straight, look at where the elbows are, they're in front. So we bend the elbows to lower the head, but when I want to lift my head, I'm going to think of straightening the arms and lifting the butt so that I still have this forward action so that the feet don't wind up on the mat. So give it a whirl. I know it's great fun. The good news is it's almost 11 o'clock. I know Carolyn is like, woohoo! I haven't seen Carolyn check the clock since March, but I know she does it. Good, so Anouk, maybe move your hands a little further apart. That might help your elbows behave a bit more. Dang, Carrie, that was good. All right. This was better. I'm glad we tried it again. We needed a chance to redeem ourselves. So let's meet in downward dog. And let's turn it into down dog B so that you get a little rest for your wrists. If your body does not like down dog B, do dolphin instead. Interlace your fingers. Life is much easier in dolphin. We're going to turn this into a forearm plank. You can keep your hands either flat or interlaced, it does not matter. Just walk your feet back and get your legs really strong so that you're not saggy in the hips. And think of drawing the belly in so it is defying gravity, moving away from the floor. Okay, place the knees down. Let's come down onto the hips so we wind up in a back bend. And we'll find our Ekapada, Bakasana with the right hand. So that left hand will come across the body to help us lift up. Right hand will reach back for the inside of the foot. And as much as you want, you pull the foot in so that the elbow can lift up. And you can see how this like a very direct correlation here. The foot is far away, the arm is straight. As the foot comes in, the elbow bends. And as it comes in a lot, the elbow goes up. You just play with that in a way that suits you so that you feel something in either the thigh or the shoulder. Let's let that go and try the other side. Right forearm in front, left hand comes back. Play with what you need to do, but make sure that you are keeping both hips down. If you are leaning to one side, you are cheating. In yoga, there is a concept of asteya, non-stealing. So do not cheat your pose. You would be stealing your stretch from your shoulder or your hip flexors. Okay, slowly get out of there. Let's place the hands under the shoulders. Inhale to rise into your upward facing. Exhale for your downward facing. Okay, right foot forward. We're going to bring the left knee down, but with the knee close to that right heel. So the plane is the same, more or less. Then we'll just try to drop the butt a bit, reaching forward, and then rise up. So we're trying to use our left toes just a little bit to bring our weight up. And the arms forward and the right leg are just helping us. And just change sides. So right leg down, left foot down. And you decide how low you go. Some of you, your butt might come all the way down. It's quite tricky. And you're probably going to feel like your right thigh is on fire. That's okay. Your right toes working very hard. That's okay. And then let's meet standing on both knees. And we'll let our feet be just a little bit wider so that we potentially have room for our butt to go down, mayurasana style, and then we'll stand on the knees again. So you just go as low as you want. Reaching forward will help. But push into your feet to bring you up again and push your hips forward. Now let's lower our butt. And if you have any knee issues, do something else that is not a virasana thing. If you are fine with virasana, come on back to supta virasana. And every inch we go down, we have to lift our butt and retuck the tailbone. Also, I like to adjust the feet as I go down and try to hug them in a little closer to the hips. It's just less torque on the knee. So once you get down to wherever you're going, let's place our fingers on our lowest rib and try to tuck it in. It is not going anywhere, so I will visualize that it is flattening out. Ooh la la, the tightness is real. Let's take 2 more breaths. And we'll start to rise up. We'll just meet in downward dog and pedal out the feet so that you can make sure your knees still work. Okay, so we've done anahatasana a few times. That's really nice for opening shoulders and throat. We're going to do another throat-based thing. Knees, chest, and chin. So we're looking forward. If it's easy, walk your knees in more so your butt sticks up more. And if it's easy, interlace your fingers behind your back. Oh God. We'll stay for 5. Whenever you've gotten to 5, let that go. Slide forward. Ooh, I could definitely not talk or count out loud during that. Okay, let's come down to the hands and knees. We're going to find our Pincha mayurasana, and then once we're up, we're going to take about a minute to explore up there. You can have a wall behind you. You're going to bring your legs further over, and then a few inches up, further over, up, further over, up. So just going back and forth within just a few inches of range. The control is going to be fierce, the requirement. So you're going to push your thumb and pointer down with intensity. You'll squeeze your legs together. Point your toes. And just go in whatever range suits you. You'll notice when you're coming deeper into the back bend, your chest moves down and forward. When you return more to a straighter version, your armpits and chest have to push back. Okay, that's cute. It gets a little wild sometimes. All right. Let's meet on our shins. I'm a little afraid of Ustrasana at the moment because yesterday I had a mini incident where my back cracked in a place that had never cracked before in my life, but it didn't hurt, so maybe it was good. Let's start with our hands on our hips. You decide to curl the toes or not. We'll lift the chest up. We'll lift the pubic bone up, forward. And either keep your hands there or reach back. I like to think the whole time about zipping up through that low belly, drawing the pubic bone up, that Uddiyana Bandha feeling. And when you're ready, just come on up and have a little rest on your knees. So that's very invigorating because our throat is so open in that. Because the head is dropped back. Let's do one more thing where the head is dropped back. We'll do purvottanasana. So just shift your weight onto your butt. If you know purvottanasana and you do not like it, you'll do this instead, reverse table. Otherwise, legs straight, point the toes, rotate your thighs in so it feels like your legs are gluing to each other. Then lift the chest, push into your heels, lift your hips, and let the head drop back. You can even practice opening and closing your mouth, sticking your tongue out. Maybe you can dig your heels into the floor one more inch, and then slowly come on down. Whew. All right. That was fun. Let us vinyasa, and then I will give you a choice of one fun thing or another fun thing. So we've been doing a lot of throat opener things. You could do it in Ustrasana again, which is the one that we did here, where we reach for the heels. Notice how your head is back. So there's this aspect of letting it all go. If you want, maybe turn it into a chin stand. I have an easier time entering with the feet wide, like Prasarita, but then even wider. And then I'll put the hip bones on the elbows, lean forward, look forward, and lift the legs. Seems a lot harder than it is. If you shift your weight forward and your throat is open enough, you will end up comfortably on your chin, and then it's just your butt and back muscles to lift your legs. So a lot of people like to come into it with their legs together. I think the strength requirement is a little bit more if you keep your legs together, but just play with it for a minute and see what works for you. You have to shift forward a little bit more than you think, like an extra inch. And Lisa, it looks like maybe your elbow has to be lower. Okay. All right, we have takeoff. All right, let's lay down on our backs for something normal just for a sec. Say bandha Bakasana. So we'll have our heels close to our butt. We'll lift the hips up and interlace fingers under the back. So this is not as dramatic as one of those chin stands, but we still are opening the throat here. We're not letting the chin squish into the chest. Instead, we gently press the back of the head into the floor. Okay, come on down. Land your butt on your forearms for a moment and just be stuck here. Feels great. I definitely should do this more often. Okay, and decide if you want to repeat that or Urdhva. And if you go to Urdhva, we're going to try rocking forward and back. So we push with the feet and then we sort of relax it so that we're nudging ourselves into a bit more intensity. Okay, come on down. All right. So we're going to find a Viparita dandasana-esque type thing. I was playing with it yesterday and I realized that there's something in this that we can extract and carry with us over to the Baddha hasta into Pincha mayurasana transition. So I'm just going to face this way for the sake of the camera. So we'll start the normal way. We'll walk the hands back. And we're just going to let the elbows come up. So we're even maybe heels up. And then we'll push the elbows down. So my legs are weak, my elbows are up. Then my legs are strong, my elbows are down. And as you do this, you're going to be rolling from the crown of the head to the hairline. And just try it a few times. Because it's a valuable orientation to be familiar with. Because when you're going from headstand to pincha, there is some rolling on the head that happens. Okay. Oh, Carrie, it's so much better than like 5 months ago. Yay. All right, so somehow come out of your back bend. And let's just try it from Pincha. We did this the other day and I was not able to make it up. Hopefully today it will work, but we'll see. We never know until we try. So you'll start in your Baddha hasta. So measure it out, hands come down. Of course, if Baddha hasta is hard for you, then you will just practice that. And I'm going to come up kind of the stiff back way, which is one leg at a time. We'll try to glue the legs together, roll a little toward the forehead, so taking with us from that previous exercise. And pulling with the fingers. Taking with us the lifting off from that tripod headstand, returning to Bakasana. Same kind of idea. If we let the weight get back, it will be like Bakasana when your butt drops to the ground. So give it a whirl. If you have a wall behind you, it is going to be really easy because in terms of your strength, all of you have it, no problem. Getting the balance, however, that is the hard part. Good. All right, we're going to do one more thing and then we'll try it again. So let's lay on our bellies. This is just, we're going to go in and out of Shoulderstand a few times, just so we can think about our body shape. So just lay on your belly, arms by your side, legs together. And on your inhale, just push your hips down, lift your chest and shoulders and legs up. Exhale, lower it down again. Inhale, lift. So we're squeezing the whole back of the body to get the front body to stretch. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. And we're not just lifting up, we're also reaching out. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. We're just going to do this 2 more times. Exhale to lower. This is like your headstand shape. Inhale to lift. That is your Pincha mayurasana shape. And let's come on down. Hands under the chest. Upward facing dog. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Exhale. So take the next minute to play with your shape change, your headstand into Pincha. And we could think about this in 1,000 different ways. Maybe it helps you to think about it as what we just did, the relationship between your shoulders, hips, and feet. Squeeze the legs together, it will make it easier. More focused energy. Okay. Pretty good. So a nook, when your second leg is coming up, just plug it into the socket a little more. So the leg is not so disconnected from the torso. Yes, very good. Okay. Let's sit on our butts and let's just bring the legs out wide in a Upavishta Konasana kind of scenario. One might ask, how do you know where to put your feet? Let us reach our hands for the edges of our feet. My legs are a little too wide to reach, which meant my stance was too wide. So I just make it a little more narrow, and then there we are, we have our grip. Legs are straight, kneecaps face up, feet are flexed. And we fold forward any amount. You can put a blanket or a block under your head if you want. Or if you have a bolster under your whole body, feels great. That's one of the yin things that folks would do for 20 minutes, but they would not be holding their legs in this position. It is very hard. The yin class for you folks and me, very hard. It goes against our tendencies. Okay, let's wiggle the legs in. Let's bring the right ankle to the lower left thigh. And same idea as what we did before, where we held our foot in our elbow. But now we'll just have our hands behind us and we'll try to bring our chest in a bit. Or we'll wrap our arms around. Okay, let go of the arms. We'll turn this into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the left foot will just move toward the right hip. Get the left knee to face front, the right foot outside of the knee, and we twist to the right. We either hug it, we hook it, or we kind of wrap it around the foot. It's the same thing as Marichyasana C. The torso has to come close to the thigh. So my right hand is free. I will literally use the strength of the right arm to pull the torso closer to the leg. Then if you want to start messing around with reaching down, you can. Okay, let's unravel. Let's stand on this right foot and just turn it into a lunge. Lower the back knee, turn it into pigeon. And downward facing pigeon, so our chest gets close to our shin bone, our head close to the floor. Okay, we'll rise up, swing the back leg around, place the left ankle on the lower right thigh and try to get your right heel close to your butt. Either hands back or hug around your leg. Carolyn, move your left knee further away from you. Yes. Why not? Okay, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So our right foot moves to the left hip region, left foot comes down, and we hug to a twist. Okay, unravel. Stand on that left foot so it turns into a lunge. Then your right foot is back. And you can find pigeon very easily. Let's rise up. We'll swing the right leg around. Take out any ponytail or bun you might have because we're going to lay back for halasana, plow pose. And scoot forward enough so that you know you have space behind you so you can extend your legs without finding a wall too quickly. You could always do L shape, which would just look like this. Or when you feel like it, you'll lift your hips up and you'll extend your legs back. And they may or may not touch the floor. There won't be anything to see on your screen, so don't look at your screen. That will potentially hurt your neck. So we'll just keep our legs reaching back. Engage the quads so the legs are straight. And think of lifting your butt up so that the butt is pretty much over the shoulders. Press the head gently down into the mat so your chin is not smushed into your chest. And lift your right leg up to the ceiling so you're in somewhat of a split. Your right leg straight up and your left toes close to or on the floor. Roll that right thigh in and change legs. So the right leg will come down, left leg will go up, and try to get that left kneecap to face the back edge of the mat. So we have to roll the left thigh in. Let's bring the right leg to meet the left and either cross your legs normal or find your lotus. If you're finding lotus, you might have your right foot just slide along your left thigh. Maybe it's a half lotus. Eventually it will turn into a full lotus. And once your legs are crossed, place your hands on your knees. Lift your butt up a little bit higher. Push your shoulders down. And there should be no strain in the neck. This is a shoulder situation. Take one more breath. We'll hug our knees in toward our shoulders and keep that body shape. Place the palms on the mat and roll down as slowly as you can. Once you're down there, hold your feet if you're in lotus. Just relax your legs down if you're not in lotus, and we'll lift the chest. So we come into Matsyasana. The crown of the head goes to the floor. The chest lifts up, and the throat is very open. Either stay there or extend the arms and legs out about 45 degrees. Keep lifting the chest. Release yourself into an upside down child's pose. Just pull the knees into the chest and rock a little side to side. Scan your body and decide what else you need. Maybe a twist, maybe hey, forward bend. My little girl was scratching on my mat. She thinks that because she's cute, she can do things like that. And we'll just meet in Shavasana in a moment or two. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. And take your time rolling to the right, eventually sitting up. Let's rub the palms together so that we have a bit of warmth generated. And let the palms hover above or gently press onto the eyes. Enjoy that darkness. Relax the eyes fully, the brows. Namaste.